The theme to today's episode is humility and how to not be a complete loser that ruins your entire career. Now, this is Pirate Software, drawn by Meat Quignon. Alright, this guy over here has so little humility, he ended his entire career. Now, you have to understand something hilarious about this guy. Now, not only is he the first ever second generation Blizzard employee who worked at Blizzard for 23 years as a game developer that didn't develop any games, but also he created a game that's absolute dog poop, which I've already covered in a previous video, but also he's getting sued and he's probably going to jail. I'll be real, the drama is getting a lot better. This dude out here completely nuked his entire career. He walked out of the freaking shoe store one day and decided, you know what? I am not going to apologize and say that I misunderstood Stop Killing Games, and because of that, he ruined his entire career. Do you realize this entire timeline would be different if about 5 months ago, he said, yeah, guys, I misunderstood what the Stop Killing Games thing is all about, my bad. If he would have said that 6 months ago, he would have a career today, whereas now, not only did he lose 200,000 subscribers in the last month, but also, he probably is gonna be sued and actually face legal problems for a multitude of reasons. Legal Mindset is already on top of this, everyone's favorite YouTube lawyer that isn't currently trying his best to open and unlatch his jaw to put the entire Democratic Party's schmeat down his throat. That's a reference to the biggest YouTube lawyer grifter on the platform. We won't mention him by name. But this guy over here says we will be covering the legal questions about the Pirate Software's exposed DMs. Now, I will be real. Bro's fucked. So good. Bro roached out one time 6 months ago and it started a downfall the likes of which none of us could have ever possibly expected. So the lawyers are on top of it. All right, this guy over here, Billy Mitchell, actually beat a lawyer in a lawsuit. Not a lawyer. Well, he beat another YouTuber in a lawsuit. And this dude's coming out. I told you all Pirate Software will be sued. And it looks like he might actually be correct, as terrifying as that is. Now, this is a clip that you need to see from Pirate Software, everyone's favorite banana retard. All right, this is him. He could eat my entire ass. This guy over here. This is him being all quirky and relatable to the audience. It's not easy for him to relate to the audience because, you know, he is the first ever second generation Blizzard employee. It's really not easy to relate to the audience when God just created you better and more gifted than anybody else. Listen, it's a pretty impressive feat. I've never lost 200,000 subscribers in a single month, but this guy did. All right, we gotta respect him for the shit he's been able to pull. All right, I'll be real. If this was all a big time to win an award, he would have surprised all of us. So this is an interesting clip from one of his subathons, all right? As you can see, he has bit goals, wait times, and essentially on a subathon, when you go live and you get donations from your audience, and every time an audience member donates something, it adds, let's say, a minute or 5 minutes onto his timer in order to force his stream to go longer. So essentially, you make a fuck ton of money on a subathon, but also your audience gets to control your stream and make sure that you stream for eternity back to back to back to back. This has been incredibly helpful for a lot of YouTubers to like stay at the top of the charts for a very long time because you obviously have a lot of subscribers, so you get more promotion from Twitch, and simultaneously it's a very entertaining event. Now, let me show you one of the most unbelievable animal fuckers, furries on the internet, and the scam that he actually pulled.
Place my head between them and go full burr mode and make... What?
Right, so as you can see over here...
Between them and go full burr mode and make...
This bite doggy guy, because of course all of his moderators are furries also. You can't make this up! Calm down. I've already covered his furry drama and his leaked DMs and his weird furry roleplay where you have him and some girl, role-playing, burping and farting down each other's throats and saying ooh-woo and nuzzling each other. It's diabolical. But anyway, this bite doggy person threw 100 bits. All right, it's exciting.
What?
And he accidentally, as you can see, he pulls up DMs. He accidentally pulls up DMs over here, which we will look at in just a moment.
What? What is this? Uh-oh. Where is it? Place my...
Alright, so as you can see, in those DMs, this is what the DMs actually look like. I'll be opening the image in a new tab so that we can zoom a little bit more. We all, of course, want to see exactly what's been said by the furry military. Alright, so as you can see, this is the conversation that was had. Kronos, who I suppose is one of his moderators, the thumbs up. Alright. Pirate Software, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it to return if you need to save it. Bits, rather than tier 3 subs, Tier 3 subs might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought any yet? I've done 100 tier 1s on my personal. I'm ready to do 40 tier 3s on an alt. Can do bits instead, or both. Did 50,000 bits at 20 seconds left, right? So the timer is at 20 seconds left. It's almost over. His subathon is about to end. But in order to launder the subathon to keep going, this dude drops 50,000 bits that, as he says, he can pay them back. Right? He said, I'm gonna refund them. Bits are going to be best because due to the return if you need to save it, right? It's gonna be refunded. 50,000 bits for the record is like, what, $500 or something? So he gets one of his mods to donate $500 to him on his stream to boost the fucking account. Okay, what's the alt? Serendipitous bean. Where's the beef? Didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. The challenge can continue because you see, he essentially laundered subscribers and bits through this gigantic scam so that, you know, for many reasons. The stream keeps going. Obviously, it looks like he had a much bigger stream. Obviously, it looks like, the audience has been paying for this. He's higher on the leaderboards right now, even though he's essentially paying himself. Like, you have to realize, he's paying himself, okay? Like, that he is donating money to himself so that his stream could get more blown up and bigger and higher on the leaderboards. And now there's something else you have to realize. There are 2 Hype Trains awards that he won. There's something called the Hype Train on Twitch, all right? Hype Trains on Twitch are something that when you get a lot of subscribers or bits at the same time, then essentially the Twitch says that there's a hype train that starts and the hype train continues. And apparently 2 of the largest hype trains in Twitch history were won by this guy. All right, this dude apparently won the largest hype train ever. Now, the craziest part is, if we're throwing into question the fact that a lot of his donations seem to be fraudulent and him donating to himself, who knows how many of these records are legitimate at all? Not only does this bring you into legal issues in regards to falsely advertising your content, but also, and we're going to be looking at the law in just a bit, but also, and this is the craziest part, this is the actual craziest part, it breaks Twitch's terms of service a lot. Right? So any other person that wouldn't be some famous Blizzard game developer on Twitch, that guy would get banned. So he breaks the terms of service, he allegedly commits fraud, and honestly, we are so not ready for the downfall that keeps happening. He's such a grifter. Everything about him is fake. It's crazy. It's actually insane. His downfall needs to be studied. I've already made a couple videos on this guy. You should absolutely check out my previous ones because I actually, I've already covered a lot of the bullshit that Mr. Pirate Software has done in regards to his awful game, his, in my opinion, scam game. All right, I think that game's a scam. I've covered how his dad essentially destroyed his career, came out on screen to say that he's a shitty son. I've covered how basically Pirate Software's code is all fraudulent and he kind of laundered his entire reputation. But definitely subscribe because I do love me some good downfalls, especially if the downfall comes from a relatively retarded, woke retard that is constantly shilling for the most bullshit game industry of all time. Hell yeah, babies. Lock in. Help the downfall continue through your cheers and laughter. Definitely subscribe. Let's up those numbers. That's what Ludwig said. Ludwig, a former friend of Pirate Software before kicking him out of his company, also said let's up those numbers. So let's up those numbers. Definitely subscribe. Leave a like. Quinthio made an entire video breaking down the situation, and I am so excited to see this downfall because, to be honest, this is like, it's a bit of a vindication for me. I'll be real. It's a bit of a fucking vindication. I said this guy was a grifter asshole 6 months ago, and all it took was 6 months in order to be proven completely correct.
Then Kronos says, did 50k bits at 20 seconds left? Pirate says, okay. What is the alt account? Kronos replies, serendipitous bean, where's the beef? And then below that, he says, didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. We were actually able to receive an archived VOD of this stream. As a matter of fact,
oh, we got everything. We got everything. He's cooked.
If I go ahead and jump over here to 726, we're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about.
I wished I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make—
Damn.
What?
So this—
And then he faked surprise. What? Oh my god, was that a real subscriber? Thank you for the donation. You saved the whole subathon! Wow!
This is him pulling it up on stream here, and I'll just go ahead and let the rest of it play, as you guys will see that this is indeed pirate software. The information that I'm going to be presenting to you guys in this video is going to, at a bare minimum, showcase yet another example of pirate software being incredibly scummy, or it could also include pirate software breaching the terms of service of Twitch, or at its worst, could actually spell legal consequences for pirate software.
All right, so full disclosure, I already know he's a bitch. I don't need more examples. I've already proven myself that I was right. All right, listen, this guy, he allegedly partook in committing a copyright abuse against indie game developers. He made a shit game that was supposed to take him a couple of months, and it took him a couple of years, where he raised a Kickstarter of $20,000. I think he's a giant grifter, huge fraud, egotistical piece of shit, deserves everything coming to him. He built his entire career based on lies and bullshit. That is my opinion, all right? This is an opinion, so I don't actually need another example. In my opinion, once you already prove this shit about somebody, the deeper you dig, the more you find. Now, in my opinion, the fact that I had so many people from, like, the Hasan Twitch gigafucked gay retard community coming after me for the last couple of months, and they didn't really find anything new, I have to say, this is pretty crazy. I've been on the internet for 10 years, man. I'm just saying, it's pretty diabolical. Pretty fucking diabolical, if I do say so myself. Damn, it's not easy to keep winning, I guess. But anywho, the reality of the matter, the reality is the gigafucked retard community keeps cooking. They keep cooking. I don't care even about the breaking the Twitch terms of service, to be honest. This is not something that really bothers me, unless it's a direct favoritism double standard on Twitch's behalf, like with the Hasan shit. For me, they banned Asmongold for something he said about Palestine, but they would never ban Hasan for saying the Jews control ISIS, which is a new Hasan clip that I think everyone needs to know exists. All right, this is the new Hasan clip that I think is one of the worst clips I've ever seen.
On the other hand, you have obviously ISIS, which is, this terror cell that seemingly never attacks Israel.
This is not true. It attacked Israel multiple times.
And only kills Muslims. Weirdly enough, okay? Don't know what that's about.
Yeah, it's just a lie.
I'm not going to point any fingers here.
Yeah, but I'm not going to point any fingers here, but...
Has the American forces actually defended ISIS at times? Yes. Has Israel defended ISIS at times in Syria? Yes, they have.
Right. So Hasan's new thing is that Israel controls ISIS, and that's why ISIS never attacks Israel, even though that's insanely not true. And these are all different articles of where ISIS actually did attack Israel. Like, it's fucking insane. Now, obviously, he's never going to get banned for this, because that double standard Twitch terms of service, that matters to me a lot. This double standard Twitch terms of service, I don't actually really care about. I'll be honest, I have a feeling a lot of streamers do this. I have a sneaking suspicion a lot of streamers actually do launder subscribers to bump their numbers up. As Ludwig once said, let's up those numbers. The pivotal quote, one of the most important quotes of all time.
Now, at the time of recording this, I've spoken to a lawyer, and I'm actually going to be including a few clips from the conversation that we had, as I think they're useful for this video. But I'm also going to be creating an
Fun fact, I actually just talked to Legal Mindset today. Not going to tell you what it's about, but it's pretty epic.
Video where I go much more in depth with this lawyer after we fully go through the details of all the information that we've gathered. Through other people, we've also been able to get in touch with someone who works at Twitch to go over this possible alleged terms of service being broken at Twitch. I should also make it very clear that the legal ramifications are not going to be gone in full depth here, and they are just alleged right now. I'm not saying that he has broken any laws yet, but there is potential. But with this oversized preamble out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, this all starts late one night just a few days ago when somebody in my Discord, shout out to CK, ends up sending in a screenshot of this tweet. This tweet comes from Guy, and they say Pirate Software accidentally revealed his DMs with Kronos during the April 1st Twitch Giga Train, showing that they were boosting it themselves. This is why the stream is unavailable to watch.
Oh my god! And they even had, those absolute degenerate shitbags. They deleted the stream. They boosted the stream and they deleted their own stream. Oh my god. The stream is empty. Do you know what that smells like? I can't believe it. That's fucking nutty.
And here we have this screenshot.
Because they know. Hold on, let me see. Kronos 7. Let me just see who this person is. KH Kronos VII. I'm just curious, man. I'm just curious. All right, so this Kronos character is a avid gamer and streamer and the lead moderator for Pirate Software. Interesting. Interesting. All right.
Themselves. This is why the stream is unavailable to watch. And here we have this screenshot. I want to make it clear at this point, this is the only thing that we have in regard to this situation. So let's take a look at that screenshot.
Shit.
Now in this
There's more?
screenshot, it is Pirate wearing a banana costume, or excuse me, a long lemon. And he's on Discord here, and it looks like he must have accidentally pulled up this Discord interaction that he was having with Kronos. That's his lead moderator. Reading off the messages here, the first one from Kronos is, Pirate responds, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the
People in my chat are saying that Kronos is a fraud lawyer. I have no idea what that means. I have no idea what that means.
best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Kronos says bits rather than tier 3s. Pirate responds, tier 3s might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you bought any yet? Kronos says, I've done 100 tier 1s on my personal, ready to do 40 tier 3s on an alt, can do bits instead or both. Then Kronos says, did 50k bits at 20 seconds left. Pirate says, okay, what is the alt account?
Bro.
Kronos replies, serendipitous bean, where's the beef? And then below that, he says, didn't mention this to the mods either. Now the challenge is to clear the queue. So that's a lot to throw at you at once.
That is fucking insane, dude. That's crazy. Every time I read that fucking post, man. Every time I read that post from Pirate Software, it freaks me out. There's only a few seconds left. Donate. I'll pay back. It's like, oh my God.
And we're going to pick it apart as we go over this video, but what is going on here? Now to preempt this, some people might know that Twitch uses this thing called a hype train. Essentially, the more you get donations or gifts in a short amount of time, it raises the level of this hype train. And when you pass certain benchmarks, people unlock things. For instance, last year on April 1st, back in 2024, Twitch's hype train record smashed again by Pirate Software. And they go into detail about Pirate breaking the Twitch hype train world record with his channel reaching level 106 on April 1st.
Oh my God, it's crazy. Is there anything about him that's real? Is there anything about this guy that's real? He managed to prop up an entire career based on freaking nothing. He propped up his career on nothing. It's so scary to think about this man. Like, it's shocking. No wonder why everyone's unsubscribing to him. There is nothing about this guy that's real. I'm a game dev at Blizzard for the last 74 years. All right, bro. No, you're not. Nothing about him was real. He can't code. He can't write. He's a furry. All right. Well, that one's not on his resume, but he is a furry. Come on, dude. Oh my God. He makes believe he's this giga genius. He lies about the gaming industry. He makes believe he's like some fucking random pro-consumer guy when he tries to kill the just killing games thing. Even his hype train records are fake. It's unreal. Like, he's the most obvious plant of all time.
Once the hype train was initiated, it took Hall roughly 3 hours.
Like, this is the equivalent of like he is the equivalent of some random like OnlyFans whore like posting edited pictures of their tits on Instagram to get people to sign up to their site. Like, that's what it feels like. It literally feels like that. He is the OnlyFans Instagram whore of game development. And I feel like there's no better way to say it. I guarantee you he's bald. I guarantee you he's bald. You see how much hair he has in his fucking shit? Come on, dude.
What's the weirdest compliment you've ever gotten?
A long time ago, when I first met my then girlfriend's mom, she asked me if she could touch my hair, and she reached out and she touched my hair, and then she squinted and she said, and like that was our first interaction because she thought my hair was soft.
I guarantee you his hair is fake. I guarantee you he's bald. Come on. Anyone that glazes themselves this much in random videos, all right, I am guaranteeing, brother. I'm telling you, bro.
To beat his previous level 50.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. I'm not making any bald allegations, but I feel like I don't trust a single thing about him.
5 world record.
Unbelievable narcissist. Guys, I had a girlfriend at one point before she realized I'm a complete freak, fake psycho, and her mom was so jealous of my soft hair. I'm sure it was.
From December, with viewers contributing 54,000.
Fake voice! Even his voice, there's nothing about him that's real. Like, he is an actual fucking plant.
380 gifted subs alongside regular subscriptions and 8.2 million bits.
All right, the question is how much of that was him?
Likely earning Hall a healthy 6-figure sum in the process. And he goes into a bit more detail. Hype Train's a feature that Twitch.
Do you see how rich this guy got on his grift? Oh my God. Do you see Do you see how rich this grift got him? This is one stream that made him 100 grand. One stream. Unreal.
which launched in 2020, are a limited time event triggered when a channel receives an uptick in bits or subscriptions, pushing past a streamer designated threshold. And you can see here that the people that were a part of this hype level 100 train were given the Kappa Infinite emote dropping in chat for Hype Train participants. I wanted to show this because it'll be important later, but Vtube is a name of a VTuber who ended up beating that record and going to
Not Beetle! Not Beetle! Neurosama! Oh man. Beetle Underwood! That's crazy.
a 111 level hype train. And this is what Pirate Software had to say when they found out their record was broken.
So Vtube broke the hype train record. Vtub's record is now level 111, and that's wild. I think that's freaking incredible, to be honest with you. With help from Valorant, I mean, yeah. So during that hype train, they got an extra 19,000 subs from Valorant, which is.
Why can't you just be happy for him? Why can't you be like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Good job, dude. Why does it have to be, yeah, that's pretty amazing? But I mean, you did get 19,000 subs from Valorant, all right? Like, you did get help from other places. So, like, I mean, I still did it myself. I'm still kind of better than you. You're not better than me. You think you're better than me?
Is wild. Like, absolutely. So I think they ended up with something like 80,000 subs.
Oh,
Our hype train was 54,000 subs, but you guys had given 8 million bits. And that was kind of the difference between the two. No, there's no cheating. No, don't try to...
Oh my god! How does he do this? Bro unlatches his jaw to put another foot in.
diminish what they did at all.
Don't diminish what they did. But they couldn't do it themselves. They only did it because of Valorant. Don't diminish what they did. But also there was no cheating. But also he might have actually cheated by donating to himself to up the fucking numbers.
Vtube is an amazing content creator. I think Neurosam is cool as shit.
So that specific part about cheating, what do you think that Pirate means by that cheating? He said, no, let's not take that away. I don't think there was cheating.
To be honest, I think the cheating means the fact that Valorant was also donating to them, right? I think that's the point. He means it's not cheating that they got help from an official company.
Cheating, don't diminish that. I would assume.
But that's what I would assume. However, it could be a Freudian slip. Cheating doesn't count because he donated to himself, maybe. And I love how he said it out loud, which is just literally passing the blame onto his chat. Like, this is the Hasan strategy of all time. All these fucking losers sitting in their glass houses. This is exactly how they roll. It's like, okay, so I want to call him out for cheating, but I'm going to look like an asshole if I call him out for cheating. So I'm just going to read someone in my chat that's calling him out for cheating. And then I'm going to seem like the good guy when I say, no, don't count that as cheating. It's like, man, I heard Vtube actually got the new award. Anyway, chat, yeah, I know that 19,000 subs came from Valorant. Yeah, I know that you could call it cheating, but I wouldn't call it cheating. The man, dude's trying to have his cake and eat it. He's trying to, throw out some snake shit, trying to throw out this, like, reasons to, delegitimize the award while simultaneously acting like the better person that he's telling his chat not to do it.
Assume that cheating in terms of building up a hype train would maybe be to artificially inflate it yourself by chance coordinating with a mod of yours, maybe your head mod, to keep a hype train alive.
I mean, I do think that this that you're reading a little too deep into it. I don't think that's what he meant. However, it's very funny, so I'm not going to disagree.
Would say that myself. Could be wrong, interested to hear what you guys think, but let's continue on. And to make it clear, we're not contesting his 106 level hype train that happened back in April of 2024. I have no reason to believe that there were any shenanigans involved with his 106 world record breaking one, as I don't know if I agree with you.
Let me tell you something interesting about humans. Patterns are very easily recognizable. If someone is cheated on their wife, all right, I'll be real. This is advice to anyone in my audience. If your spouse cheated on you, dump him or her. Dump them. They'll do it again. I'm sorry. It's gonna happen. Of course it's gonna happen. All right? So I think patterns are very easily recognizable. In my opinion, patterns are very easy to find. If the pattern was so obvious that you were able to predict it, then I don't know why you wouldn't think that he would do this another time too. I think once your credibility falls into question, everything falls into question. When I called him a fraud before in my video 6 months ago, you think I expected everything about him to be a lie? From his fake voice to his fake being good at video games to his fake coding abilities to his to everything about him? Nah, bro.
Have any evidence of that. And regardless of your understanding of his pattern of behavior, anything like that, I'm not making that allegation myself. I'm not saying anything about that specific achievement. We're talking about this year. April 1st, 2025. Now, I think one of the most important parts about this is validating that this is a real screenshot. And how are we going to do that? Because as it stands right now, Pirate Software had removed the YouTube VOD, and as well as the Twitch VOD ends up deleting itself after 60 days. And I think we hit that threshold.
Bullshit! Twitch VODs do not delete themselves after 60 days unless you specifically set it to delete itself. That's not true. I don't think he meant to be wrong. He's just wrong. Twitch VODs do not delete themselves. You see, I got my Twitch VODs deleted twice. One was because I made a video criticizing Twitch and they removed my partnership checkmark on Twitch. Let me see if did anyone clip that? I complained about that. Hold up. Let me see this. So I made a video criticizing Twitch. All right. I made a video criticizing Twitch. And I lost, and after I made that video, I lost my checkmark on Twitch. They removed my partnership there. And I was furious, and I talked about it. Yeah, here it is. I found the clip. Here, check this out. Right? So this is when, I'll never understand Twitch. I will never understand them. Bro, you don't understand how annoying this is. I lost my checkmark when I moved to Kick, and then when I made a video complaining about Twitch, I got my checkmark back. Like, that's insane. So that was when Twitch deleted my VODs. That was when Twitch deleted my VODs. All right, that's when that happened. All right, I'll be real. That's when Twitch deleted my VODs. But other than that, Twitch doesn't delete your VODs. If someone deletes their VODs, then they're probably trying to hide something.
Threshold. Now, this leak could be the reason that this ended up getting taken down, this VOD, but there's another potential reason as to why, and it actually comes from that head moderator that you saw in the screenshot, Kronos. Now, I had replied to Guy, and I'm actually going to show you two different ones. Guy actually posted this screenshot in a couple of other places. I said, hey, where were you able to find this? Would like to get some more info on this. And then they replied, it's my own screenshot from the stream, ex-subscriber. And so I said, could you send me a screenshot of where that file is in your folder, just so we can see a timestamp of that picture? I know that's weird, but the more info we have, the more we can validate in my Discord. Well, Kronos—
Wait a second. That's insane. Hold up. So this guy just happened to take a screenshot of it like months ago? This guy managed to take a screenshot of it months ago just as a fan. And now that all this shit is coming out, he's like, all right, we'll expose him. That's crazy.
Stamp of that picture. I know that's weird, but the more info we have, the more we can validate this. And I give my Discord. Well, Kronos replied back, and you guys might recognize this.
Yeah, this is the head mod of Pirate Software.
Phraseology here. You could have asked me about this one had you reached out. Well, I couldn't reach out to Kronos unless I added him and then he accepted my friend request on Discord.
Yeah, it's a really disingenuous thing. I hate when people do this. It's like, why are you going behind my back when you could have reached out to me? It's like, what do you mean reached out to you? Sent you an email that maybe you would read? Like, come on, dude.
We don't share a mutual server, which means I can't just message him even if we aren't friends. But he goes on to say, I've spoken about this before, but I guess the truth isn't as compelling. Kronos VII on Discord. VOD was removed to prevent a 2025 repeat of people watching the 2024 video and messaging donators, myself included. Now,
the claim is that they wait. The claim is that they deleted the VOD so people don't see who donated money. Literally what? That is not an excuse.
25 repeat of people watching the 2024 video and messaging donators, myself included. Now, I should note that I also said if you could send me your January comments relating to this, I'd love to have them. Also, sent you a friend request on Discord. That was 12 hours ago. He still has not added me back. Still waiting on that response.
Classic, right? This is every single time, bro. It's like, why didn't you reach out to me? And then they just don't respond to your friend request.
But I think to remain charitable here, the VOD was removed to prevent a 2025 repeat of people watching the 2024 video and messaging donators. Let's just go with that. Now, Kronos made another reply, and I want to highlight this. He said this before. In January, during the WoW drama, people contacted me and others about donating during the Hype Train record in 2024. This year, I did less from my main and did some on an alt. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a bit confused about this message. People contacted me and others about donating during the Hype Train record in 2024.
Again, there is no rule that a moderator, all right? There is no rule that a moderator is not allowed to donate to a streamer. Obviously, they can, all right? Your mods could be your fans also that donate to you. That's not a problem, all right? The issue is if he's colluding with the streamer to donate in a way that Pirate Software will be refunding him those donations, all right, that becomes fraud.
I think he's saying that in the same fashion that they were people harassing donators in the last one back in 2024, He didn't want to have the same issue, so he donated and wanted to make donations from that alternate account. Now, based on how I'm reading this, and again, I could be wrong, maybe I'm misunderstanding what Kronos said, but he said that he did do 100 tier 1s on his personal. Now, if you have an issue with people harassing you and you end up using an alt, I would figure that you would probably send most of the donations through that alt account, but sending 100 separate...
No, this guy's obviously doing something a little shifty. Why would you donate subs to a streamer through multiple channels? Like, through your main and through your alts? Like, why would you do this? Like, let's be real here. Literally, why would you ever do this unless it's to trick people, right? Obviously, it's to trick people. It's because if you have, let's be real, if you have one account that donates 1,000 subscribers, that maybe looks more suspicious than if you have 10 accounts that each donate 100 subscribers. It looks like laundering. It literally looks like laundering.
Tier 1 subs, or maybe they were grouped in 5s, 25, maybe did it all at once. That's still putting your name up there. That's still...
I mean, dude, I'm thinking about this from another angle right now. Like, there was a controversy from a very, very long time ago. I'm sure none of you remember it, where people would launder money through YouTube stream chats, where they would get tax write-offs. If they would make a donation, they would get a tax write-off as like a business expense, right? Because this is technically for your business. It's to boost your sub numbers and your sub goal. It's part of the content, right? So you could write it off as a business expense, and then refund it. That kind of seems potentially really fucking scary. That could be a massive legal issue. I don't know if that's what they're doing, obviously, but if you're doing that, then your enemy is the IRS. All right, not me, not legal mindset or Quinn Theo or Mudahar, bro. That's Joker shit. That's scary.
Still gonna get people to message you. So
again, I don't know if any of that's true. I'm just saying that that is something that people did do in the past. If he did that, which I'm not saying he did, bro's going to jail.
I mean, having the VOD deleted afterwards is going to solve all of it regardless, so you shouldn't have to worry about if you donated it using your personal account. The VODs have been wiped. I just wanted to make sure I went through both of his messages. I'm not trying to cherry pick here, but let's move on to how we were able to confirm that this existed in the first place. Number one, Kronos is not refuting it, but more importantly, number two, we were actually able to receive an archived VOD of this stream. Now I'm about to show you guys an archived VOD of this exact stream where we're able to prove that those leaked DMs showed up in this stream. Now at the time that I first showed this and the first time that I had found it in my Discord, is that's where it was sent in, I didn't know who had archived this, but I want to give credit to the individual who had this archived VOD, and that is Scorpion from MK on Kiwi Farms.
All right.
I want to apologize.
Oh my god, they dug so deep. Look, dude, the internet has everything. The internet has everything.
Is that I did not know this going into my stream. Again, you deserve full credit for this, and I genuinely really appreciate that you had this VOD. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this solid proof to back up this screenshot that we had found, so thank you. Here it is in all of its glory. It is 11 hours and 59 minutes and 57 seconds. To the best of my knowledge, this stream was 12 hours long. So they usually do that 11-hour 55 cut, so we have the entire thing, and it's not super relevant to be missing those last couple of minutes because we have everything we need here. As a matter of fact, if I go ahead and jump over here to 7:26, we're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about.
I wished I could place my head between them and go full burr mode and make...
What?
So this is him pulling it up on stream here, and I'll just go ahead and let the rest of it play, as you guys will see that this is indeed pirate software. You can see his messages between Kronos, the ones that we were just showing you, and then you're going to watch him go ahead and delete the text-to-speech that he just heard.
What? What is this? Where is it? I'm gonna find this. I need to find your message. God damn it, click. Click, you garbage machine.
Bruh.
What? Who are you? Why are you like this? Number 420. Deleted. Jesus Christ.
Now, number one, as far as I'm concerned, I think that's aptly proving that, yes, this is indeed pirate software. He's going through, he deleted the text-to-speech, you heard him talking about it, and he had the authority to delete that message. Now, the other thing I found interesting about this little chain of events here is that he quickly switches to a different DM after he realizes that this is on screen, and that happens before he goes to his Discord, and he looks a bit panicked, but that, again, I'm speculating here, right?
What?
He does look panicked. Like, dude, every single YouTuber has been there, all right? Everyone's been there. Everyone's been there where you open up something and a message leaks and you start sweating and you have to play it off cool. I don't know if I've ever done that. I'm sure I've done that at some point. You have to play it off cool and be like, yeah, listen, I didn't leak anything of dangerous.
Is this? Where?
He jumps over to...
to a random message. This is not even relevant. This isn't even what... Yeah. This is like what happened when Vosh pulled up his horse porn on his fucking stream. Listen, man, that's crazy.
This one first to, clear so you guys
Yeah, that's why he clicked the other one. He clicked the other comment to leave this one.
can't see what he's saying to Kronos, and that's when he starts looking for his server.
Is it?
Wow, bro. Holy shit, that's crazy. He opens up on Kronos. He immediately clicks another message to get the Kronos shit off the screen. And then he starts looking through his servers in order to find it, which means he is purposefully hiding the Kronos messages that he just leaked, which could be really bad.
I'm gonna find this. I need to find your message. God damn it, click.
So now that we've confirmed that...
God damn it! God damn it! Oh my god, he got so fucking called. He got so cooked. Yeah, now, here's a video from...
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today we...
Yeah, this is from the Spiffing Brit, where he basically explains the actual Twitch bit exploits.
doing something slightly different. You see, we're going to be perfectly balancing the website of Twitch, which always seems to have a random exploit running in the background. You see, Twitch and Amazon combined often keep making very silly mistakes which result in infinite money exploits, and lo and behold today, another one has occurred. The last time this happened was way back in Valentine's Day, where effectively if a small group of 5 people got together, they could coordinate a way of making $100 off of stacking discounts. It was a bit silly, it was very stupid, but guess what? Twitch was aware of the issue and they did their best to try and fix it. So surely they wouldn't make a very similar exploit issue again, now would they? No, Twitch is so smart, so incredible. They perfectly manage their platform, they don't make any mistakes. I mean, it's not like I've ever heard of Twitch making a mistake when it came to, say, banning someone and then consequently destroying their entire career. Twitch, when it handles copyright so well, I'm sure it handles discounts even better. The following video is going to accidentally showcase a way to generate infinite money and infinite bits via various oversights from the companies of Twitch, Amazon, and Gillette. We here at Spiffcode would never use exploits to generate infinite money and upset American companies. This is entirely for informational purposes, and everyone watching pinky promises they won't use these exploits. As a show of how much people don't want to use this exploit, just look at all of the likes on the video. Each like equates to one person who won't be using this to bankrupt the entire platform of Twitch. Okay, well, today, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to reveal the latest kind of discount that Twitch is doing. Twitch is, of course, combining with their overlord.
You get my idea. I do think it definitely does kind of seem that way. In my opinion, it definitely kind of seems like there are ways to game these fucking systems.
This really does exist. It existed on that VOD. Let's take a look at that screenshot again. So this specific bit up here, let me know if you do. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Bits rather than tier 3s. Tier 3s might be better, don't know. Bits is 82% return when you buy them in bulk. Have you...
This is crazy. This is fucking crazy. Now, I want to make this clear for a second, what he means by this. If you buy bits on Twitch, it costs a certain amount to buy bits, right? So let's say 100 bits is $1. However, it costs about $1.25 to buy 100 bits. However, if you buy 10,000 bits in one shot, it'll only cost you, let's say, I don't know, $105 instead of $125. The more bits you buy in one shot, the less you actually have to pay. The less you actually have to pay to buy it in cut. So it has an 82% return, meaning if you buy enough bits in one shot, you will be able to have 82% of that payment go directly into Twitch bits. So if you donate all of that, let's say hypothetically, you get 100 bits, you give $1, which means you get 82 bits, and you donate those 82 bits to a streamer, and then that streamer refunds those bits, refunds the 82 cents to you. It kind of seems like fraud. That's what I'm saying. It's definitely a little bit scary and suspicious.
Bought any yet? Now my leading theory here, specifically with that 82% number that Thor is throwing out, has to do with the conversion rate when you get bits into a Twitch stream. Now, as you can see here, when you're
obviously that's what it means. You don't even need to go so far. All right, what's the most cost-effective way to donate bits to, how many bits? To donate, let's say, 100,000, 1,000,000 bits to a Twitch streamer. I'll be honest. To donate 1,000,000 bits to a Twitch streamer, the best way is to buy Twitch bits, all right? All right, so depending on how many you buy at a single time, all right, according to this calculation, you buy that. This means you pay around 12,000 to donate 1,000,000 bits, which is what percent? All right, so there are chargeback rates. Interesting. So it seems like 23% markup, right? So if you look at it that way, and he said you could do it with 82%. Interesting. Listen, I'm just saying, I feel like this is the cheapest way to get a lot of money, to donate it to somebody in order for you to get paid back, to make it look like you gave them more money.
viewers perform and confirm an action that requires bits within the extension on your channel page, you'll earn 80% of 1 US cent per bit used, and the remaining 20% is shared with the extension developer. So here's that 80%, but let's do a little bit of that math. So taking a look here, I just took a screenshot. I went into a Twitch stream, went to the bits, and you can actually get a 12% discount at 25,000 bits.
Yep.
So that puts you at a $308 price tag. Now, to make this a bit easier to understand, one of my buddies here actually created this here, so special thanks to them, but we're showing that 82%. So bit is 82% when you buy them in bulk. What he means is if you spend $308 to buy 25,000 bits, donate them, the streamer gets $250. And then of course, Twitch takes its fee, that 20% being $58, which means that $250 is the money going out to the streamer, and $308 is the money that you put into the system to give that $250 to the streamer. So that's how you end up getting a return on your money of 81.1.6. Now,
Yep, there it is. There it fucking is. Yeah, absolutely. It's a way for you to... It's the most cost-effective way to donate to streamers. And this only really matters if you're planning on paying them back for it and you're trying to artificially bump up numbers. You really want this to be illegal? It is definitely illegal. It breaks Twitch's terms of service, and if you are a partnered streamers on Twitch, you have to follow the terms of service. So it's illegal in that very basic way, in my opinion. And also, it's probably illegal for fraud purposes, like especially if A, you're using it as some sort of tax write-off, in which case he's going to jail, if that's the case, if he gets caught. All right, now, another case, he's essentially view-botting, right? He's getting himself to the top of the leaderboards. More people are going to look for him. It's definitely shitty and scummy for sure. But yeah, that's crazy. The most cost-effective way. And now let me make this clear to you. You should watch me on Kick. Kick.com/Nuxanor, baby. Because over here, I get 95%. All right, I get a 95% of donations as opposed to Twitch's on the best possible buying in bulk is 81%.
Due to the streamer. So that's how you end up getting a return on your money of 81.1.6. Now there is that 0.84%, discrepancy between this 81% and 82% the pirates are referencing, but I think that is a safe enough margin of error when we're talking about this. But all of that math is to show that this 82% return when you buy them in bulk is referencing that they are receiving 82% of the funds that are used in these donations, meaning that 82% is going to pirate software.
And why does that matter? Because you're trying to artificially inflate the numbers on your stream. That seems like fraud, bro.
Which would then in turn, and I think the only reason Pirate Software is talking about this return is because that money would be going back to Kronos. So not only would he be able to donate to this...
I mean, I think it's more obvious. Bits is going to be the best way to do it due to the return if you need to save it. Due to the return!
Is because that money would be going back to Kronos. So not only would he be able to donate to this hype train and help it out, which he literally admits to, as we see in these messages here. Right down here, he says, did 50k bits at 20 seconds left. But they're also trying to save as much overhead as possible and get it back to Kronos without bleeding as much money. Now, I'm sure there's a potential for another reason for them to have been talking in this way. That is my best guess based on the information that I was able to pull about the bits, percentage of what goes to the creator, what ends up going to Twitch. Interested to hear what you guys think if anyone understands these systems a bit better. Now, another wrench in this point is the fact that Kronos lives in the UK, so we don't know for sure if he's using that or, the currency where he lives. And that could play a factor really since the price of bits is different based...
Twitch is so fucking bullshit for this. If you want an interesting Twitch exploit, I'm not telling you to do this, all right? I am not telling you to do this. However, I'm just telling you that this is something that people do. Twitch bits and subs cost different amounts in different countries. It's so fucking bullshit, but there are some people that want to make it look like they're donating a lot of subs, so they essentially put on some sort of VPN to make it look like the donation is coming from Venezuela, where it costs half the price for each donation, and then they're going to donate a sub from Venezuela, which will cost, instead of $5, it'll cost them $2, and if you're doing some sort of subathon that you're trying to artificially inflate numbers, I wonder how many of those subs that were sent to Pirate Software were directly from another country. All right, I have someone in my chat that says that normally it's $5 in the United States, but it's $1.49 in Nepal, right? So I'll be real, I'll be honest. I kind of feel like that's kind of what's going on. I'm just wondering if that happened because I know a lot of people have actually done this.
based on where you're from. Now, we're about to get into where this could potentially break terms of service with Twitch and some of that potential legal aspect to this. But first, I want to go over that alt account that Kronos is referencing. Now, this is that Serendipitous Bean account. It does exist on Twitch. Moreover, if we go over and look at the overview for this profile, and that's over here on Twitch Tracker, we can see that the account was created April 1st of 2020.
Oh no! They made the account! They made the account on the day of the hype train. Oh my god. They never thought they'd get caught. Again, I'm telling you, Thor literally thought he was God's greatest gift to the universe. He thought he would get caught. He never thought he would get caught. He always thought, listen, I'm the first ever second generation Blizzard employee with 23 years of game development, all right? Who's gonna ever look into my random bullshit? What an absolute idiot.
25, which would line up with the timeline of having this alt account created on the same day that this stream was recorded. And then going back here, we can see Kronos referencing what his alt account name is and saying, where's the beef? Now, this is important. As a matter of fact, still in Pirates Discord, there are these answered TTS from 3 months ago, which lines up with that time frame. And here we can see, probably the one that I'm specifically referring to here is my favorite ferret is beef, because where's the beef? So I think it's pretty safe to say we can tell that this is Kronos, since he literally said verbatim, where's the beef in the Discord messages between him and Pirate. So we know for a fact that Pirate has seen, can confirm, and knows that Serendipitous Bean is Kronos' alt account.
And the funniest thing is that at the very end, he's like, don't mention this to the mods either. Listen, this scam is between us, bro. This scam is between us, beef. All right, brother, the scam is between us. We'll do furry fart roleplay later. All right, listen, we'll do furry fart roleplay in a couple of minutes. It's okay, guys. It's okay. All right, I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back with furry burp roleplay.
That Pirate has seen, can confirm, and knows that Serendipitous Bean is Kronos' alt account. Not only that, but we have something super cringe. So that was the first Twitch text-to-speech, and we can actually kind of attribute that maybe Pirate didn't know that that was the alt at the time that that text-to-speech went out. But we do know for a fact that the second text-to-speech that was sent out by Serendipitous Bean, Pirate knew full well that it was Kronos. That's going to make the second clip.
Wait, the lawyer, whenever he said we're filing a legal complaint, hold on, wait a second. When Pirate Software said he was filing a lawsuit, who did he say was filing the lawsuit? Pirate Software copyright. Let me see if I can find this. Was that Kronos? Guys, I just saw this literally right now. This popped up on my feed. Bro, he's definitely bald. Okay? Like, he's definitely balding, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, bro. He is definitely balding. Okay? Like, definitely. Okay? I'm just saying. Anyway, not relevant, but I think I found the actual clip that I was looking for. Is this it?
Hey, Kronos, we have to file a legal complaint against that dude earlier. I'm gonna pause this for a moment.
I'm finding out.
There was a dude earlier today that went onto Reddit and said that he was using my voice in a video game, showed a bunch of videos of it, and then put that game up on Steam. A lot of people in the thread told him not to do that would end up being a legal problem for him. He did it anyway. So I filed a DMCA claim, and he has now filed a counterclaim against me. We're going to take you to court. You're going to lose. You cannot use somebody's likeness or voice in any way inside of your games without their permission.
And it turns out, he didn't sue the guy because the guy did not actually even use the fucking clip. The guy did not use his voice without permission, and even if he would use his voice without permission, it's still technically legal because it is done as a parody, and that is protected under fair use. Pirate Fartware is lying. Okay, he's lying. All right, I'm just gonna be real. He's a bitch for this. He is. The funniest thing is to me though that he does this.
Hey, Kronos, we have to file a legal complaint.
The fact that he drops the hey Kronos, we're filing a legal complaint. I don't know if that means Kronos is his lawyer. I don't know if Kronos is just his homie, just like his boy, his guy, his dude on the side that does the dirty work. Because that's kind of how it seems. I just wonder how many furry roleplay blowjobs Kronos has been getting as payment.
I'm about to play you that much more painful to watch. So here's that where's the beef text-to-speech here.
Serendipitous Bean with 25,000 bits said my favorite ferret is beef because WHERES the beef.
So that was the first one sent from Kronos, and this is the second one.
Serendipitous Bean with 50,000 bits said IRL friend of Kronos and excited that they are now free from corporate.
I know.
Love your stream and what you do for people here. There aren't...
That is so cringe, man. Love your stream and what we do from people here. And this is just him sending it to himself.
Many cool or supportive streamers left once they get big like this. Stay cool, bud, and tell Kronos that Ben sends their regards.
I'm sorry you had to know Kronos in real life
with
just like me.
500 bits.
And then he insults Kronos. I'm sorry, you know Kronos in real life just like me. Meanwhile, this is being sent by Kronos' alt under his own direction. This is diabolical levels of cringe.
Said when is Yar pregnant man going to be real?
He had to do a little glazing for his boss, but
That is crazy. Oh my god. What an insufferable bitch. You cannot make this up. Oh. He tells the guy to donate on another account. So he does. He donates and he's like, "Sir, you are literally the greatest streamer of all time. I am so glad and grateful for your presence in the community. You are truly enlightening us and the world. It's an honor to be able to see such a humble and successful second generation Blizzard employee streamer. Thank you so much." And then he's like, "Oh man, fuck Kronos. Am I right, guys?" And that's literally the guy that did the... This is pathetic. This is unreal. Oh my god, I'm loving this, man. This is such a good downfall. I love downfalls.
oh my god, that was painful, knowing now that that is actually Kronos. But now lastly, over here at the bottom, didn't mention this to the mods either, so this wasn't, you know, planned amongst all the other mods, but then right below that says, now the challenge is to clear the queue. Now what's...
Right, because it's all about succeeding and completing whatever challenge or hype train or whatever they're doing.
This clearing the queue? Well, there's actually an answer, and this is in the form of one of Pirate Software's shorts.
Queue and wait time. So every time somebody donates to do a TTS,
Oh my fucking god.
I actually have a system, and you can see it goes into this queue. Every time I hit this button, like this,
Amph cheer 500 loving war with insofar as a warlock.
But yeah, your message then goes into Discord. It actually has a timestamp here to show where that's going on, so you can click on it, and it works, right? And then if I don't get to your message by the end of the stream, it goes into debt. And right now, we've given $56,805 to charity since November of last year, because if I don't answer your message, I don't deserve the money, so we pay it to charity.
So I think
It's an interesting system, right? You get your donations read, and if you don't answer the donations, then you end up giving the extra money to charity. And it's a nice way to remind people at how awesome and sexy you are that you're giving money to charity. But you don't understand something so fucking diabolical about this. I wonder if Legal Mindset talked about this, bro. I don't know if he talked about this. I'm gonna actually message him. You have to realize how crazy this is. If someone donates to you on Twitch, it's your money. So if you give it to charity, you are giving it to charity. All money that you give to charity is a tax write-off because you gave it to charity. If he is donating to himself, okay? If he is giving his own money to himself, and then, oopsie, I didn't get to the messaging queue, it goes to charity, and it becomes a tax write-off, he is essentially writing off his own fucking money to charity. Like, do you realize how insane this is? Again, I don't know if it's always his own messages that he's not reading, that he is reading, but like, you have to realize how insane this is. Who knows how far he went down this rabbit hole?
I think that's all that you specifically need to know. Now we understand that every TTS that doesn't get cleared through the queue, meaning Pirate ends up playing it for the stream, that ends up all getting donated to charity. And it seems like Kronos is well aware of that fact. And so now the challenge being to clear the queue means that they want to make sure that they get through everything so that none of it gets donated to charity. Now that
seems like the point. Like, obviously, the least he donates to charity, the better, right? It's the more for him, right? But anything that does go to charity is just writing it off as charity.
Could be nefarious, but also at the same time, I think the goal is that he does want to read through them all because he wants to, you know, appreciate the people that have been sending the money to him. Matter of fact,
You know, including himself. You have to realize he's sending money to himself so he can glaze himself and respond to his own questions. How insane is this?
I'm pretty sure their goal is to get through every single one of those text-to-speeches, and inevitably, you know, they will end up donating some to charity because they might not be able
Charity's the name of a stripper.
to get through all of them in a single stream. And it ends up being that if they don't read it, ends up going to charity. So I don't really see an issue per se with that. Some people could take it that way. I don't think I necessarily need to make that argument because I think there's a reasonable understanding that, of course, the goal is to clear the queue every time. And it's not just because it's all going into their pockets, although that's the main reason, but they do also just want to respect the viewers that have...
Guys, look, I found an image of Pirate Software and Charity. This is them hanging out together in TwitchCon. All right, this is just Pirate Software and Charity. They're just doing their thing. All right, listen, that was a joke. That was a joke.
sent their money in. But now let's talk about that Twitch terms of service and if this is breaching that terms of service. Now this hinges on the hypothesis that Kronos is getting paid back by Pirate through these bit donations that he did. And he did 75,000 bits in total, so $750. Now, of course, there was a little bit less due to that 12% discount, but that's the ballpark here. And again, reached out to see if someone from Twitch can actually better clarify if any terms of service were broken. So at this moment, this is all just speculation, and I don't have any other. Now, what I'm showing you guys here is from Twitch's legal Bits Acceptable Use Policy. Now, I'm just going to read the title of this area that I'm going to be reading from. Bits cannot be directly exchanged for items or services of value. Now, that specifically directly exchanged is a bit, you know, convoluted here since it's going directly to the stream, but then supposedly, potentially, Kronos will be getting paid back.
I don't think that that is what this means. What this means, as far as I understand, is that bits cannot be directly exchanged for items or services of value, meaning, hey, I'll give you 100 bits if you do a sit-up, all right? You know, maybe that's not a service of value, so maybe that doesn't count, but I'll give you 100 bits if you write me a personalized letter and send it to me. Or if you do blank. That's normally what it means.
The front line reads, don't engage in an exchange of bits for items.
But mostly for, like, sexy talk.
Or services that typically are associated with a cost or value. Communities can gather to achieve a goal that unlocks a benefit or experience for the community, explained further below. Cheers can announce benefits in response to individual cheers. However, in each of those scenarios, the activity does not provide a return of anything of value. And down here explicitly, it says, now the don'ts that constitute violations of this policy.
All right,
don't solicit bits in exchange for money or donations, and don't request money or donations for bits.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. This sounds like soliciting bits in exchange for money, right? It's like 70 bits, I'll pay you back. Oh, no.
Now, this doesn't work because Pirate is not saying, hey, we're, you know, giving you guys money if you give me bits. And it's also not Kronos requesting money for those donations. But if we come down here, we can see this specific point here: selling, offering to sell, trading, bartering, or transferring bits to other users of Twitch in exchange for real or virtual currencies. Now this, we could make the argument that the selling, or I should say offering to sell or transferring bits to other users of Twitch in exchange for real currency would be the equivalent of Kronos donating those bits to Pirate's stream, knowing that he's getting this, as we, you know, talked about, that 82% return. Or I should say that that 82% return is going to Pirate. That assumption being that this return of 82% is for Pirate so that he can get it back to him and lower their overhead costs. Now again, there is nothing directly stating outright you cannot, as like a moderator or an employee for a streamer, donate bits to, you know, get that money back afterwards. But there's no specific ruling on that, or not at least that I've seen from the research that I've put together, or that any research with people that I have worked with making this video have found themselves. Now, other examples of this Twitch terms of service potentially being broken here has to come from spam, scams, and other malicious conduct. And listed below in, for example, you may not, it includes this part here about engage in viewership tampering, such as artificially inflating follow or live.
That's what I thought for sure we were going to be going to. I didn't even like think about the Twitch donating bits thing, like the bits shit. This is the first thing I thought of, that this is artificially tampering and inflating numbers on Twitch by donating to yourself.
Viewer stats. Now, my expert armchair analysis, I would look at that and go, okay, well, they were seemingly based off of, you know, Kronos directly saying, I added those 50K bits with 20 seconds left. It sounds like he is artificially, you know, with coordination from Pirate Software, keeping the hype train going, which may look like natural engagement, which may incentivize other people to donate to the hype train because they want to build it up, because there is a potential that they unlock this emote or they unlock other rewards in the progression of leveling up this hype train. I think this might also contribute to the cheat the Twitch reward system, in which case I think maybe you could make that argument, but at the same time, the alternate account that he would have
I would argue that this also does cheat the Twitch reward system, because now that you're getting subscribers from other accounts, you're opening up the fucking Twitch hype trains in order to get special emotes and shit. I don't know, it does kind of seem that way.
And donating these bits on wouldn't really be cheating that Twitch reward system, since he would be receiving the rewards from it. Again, that's more like incentivizing other people that would naturally donate. They would be more likely to donate if you were getting closer to one of those goals. And they got closer to that goal by artificially inflating the train. Pyrocynical is going to have a heyday with this video if he ever reacts to it. Now, the last big like TOS thing that I have here is under prohibited conduct here. Specifically here under II, it says
You know why Pirate Software is? You know why Pyrocynical is gonna have a heyday? Because he's also a furry.
Impersonate any person or entity, or falsely claim an affiliation with any person or entity. Now,
again, for me, the actual Twitch terms of service part is probably the least exciting part. I actually don't care if you break Twitch's terms of service, unless it's, you know, endangering people or actually like showing some double standard from Twitch. I don't actually give a shit about the Twitch terms of service. I actually don't give a shit about Twitch in general. I literally do not care about Twitch even a little bit. I will laugh at their inevitable demise, which is happening. It is happening in real time. I don't care about Twitch. For me, it's much more interested. I'm much more interested in the Pirate Software part of it.
Technically, Kronos impersonated someone that was friends with Kronos. I think that's a really lame technicality, but at the end of the day, he did pretend to have a friend, which is kind of funny. But more specifically, in the
I don't think that matters.
second part of this II here, it says, misrepresent the source, identity, or content of information transmitted via the Twitch services. I would say by using an alternate account and not disclosing that to the public that was viewing the stream would count as misrepresenting the source and identity.
No! That's not why it's misrepresenting the source or identity. It's misrepresenting the source of the identity because Pirate Software is refunding it. He's telling someone to donate to him that he'll pay him back. The source is him himself, brother. The source isn't the moderator. The source is the streamer. He is paying himself back for this shit. Nah. That is misrepresenting the source
of the person donating. But all of these potential breaks in the terms of service could mean absolutely nothing. Now, I spoke with the lawyer that had actually worked with Private Parts back when he received a cease and desist from Pirate Software in regard to his video game, including Pirate Software's voice in it. Now, I spoke with him a little bit about this specific point, and he had some really interesting information to provide in regard to the fact that Pirate Software might have a different contract with Twitch that would supersede the terms of service that would typically apply as a blanket for most people that are streaming on Twitch.
There's another layer here.
What? No, that's not right, bro. That's not right. Ain't no freaking way. He has secret fucking stream contracts?
Too, right? Okay. So there's the terms of service that most of us are going to have available to us. But someone like him, he may have a different terms of service that we don't get to see. He may have a separate individual contract. He could have a separate written agreement that says literally on it, Twitch terms of service are superseded by our written agreement, thusly. You may only think you may think, and Twitch may allow you to think, because that seems more fair. It seems like more fair for gamers if the rules are all the same for everybody. But no, they don't have to tell you that. Nobody has to tell you that. So he has. And I would be kind of surprised, actually, if he didn't have a separate agreement that said, those terms of service do not apply except to this extent or superseded except to this. I mean, if I were him, I would want to have a separate agreement. And his agreement it's possible. Who knows? We don't know what his contract is. We could talk theoretically about what Twitch's terms of service, how it would apply if it applies to him. But we honestly don't know. And that kind of thing is not that uncommon in the real business world. Like in when it comes to real,
it's not uncommon, but the reason why it doesn't matter is because Twitch never actually enforces its own terms of service. The reason why first of all, I don't think this is true. I don't think he has some sort of special contract that overrides the Twitch terms of service. That's first. And second, and more importantly, Twitch doesn't follow their own terms of service. They don't enforce their terms of service for people that they like. They only enforce the terms of service on people that they don't like. So I personally don't really see this as kind of anything. I really see this as like a nothing burger.
Business. And you're dealing with
a nothing burger, not in regards to what he did, but in regards to maybe he had a secret contract that had different terms of services. Like, bro, Hasan just threatened somebody on stream with a gun. All right, he just pulled out a gun and threatened someone's life on stream, and he got no punishment for it. All right, he'll tell his audience to murder senators and get away with it. Like, Hasan doesn't have some secret epic Twitch contract. Twitch just doesn't enforce their terms of service.
With real large amounts of money, people have individual there's contracts of adhesion, we call them, are the ones that ordinary users can't change. Right. Ordinary users have no opportunity to change. But when you get into like where real money is changing hands, people don't do contracts of adhesion. They're custom. That's why you have lawyers. You negotiate these things. They are negotiated. He may have had it so that this doesn't even apply at all. And it's not like he's expressly allowed to, but it's just the prohibitions that would normally prohibit this do not apply. And maybe Twitch doesn't even give a fuck.
Yeah, I think the Twitch not giving a fuck thing is the most likely.
What's their downside? They're still getting paid, right?
Right.
So their only downside would be if it looks real bad.
But now let's specifically tackle legality. Like, U.S. law is what he did illegal.
That's what I want to hear.
Based off the information that I have now, it's very, very shaky at best. And I say that because it's the information that I have right now. Now, in a future video here, probably within the next few days, I'm going to be having a full-on conversation and go really in depth about the details of this with the lawyer I was just showing you guys clips from. And I think through that, I'm going to have a much better answer for you. But as of right now, when we're focusing on the legal aspect of this, looking at US law, the first thing that I want to point out is I don't think that this is like money laundering. I think it's kind of scummy that...
Again, as it stands right now, there's no direct evidence of money laundering. However, I do think it's super easy to money launder once you're doing this. That's the difference, personally. I don't think we necessarily have evidence of money laundering. However, you are literally setting all the dominoes up in a row, and all you need to do is knock over the first domino, and all the other ones fall down. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. It's kind of crazy. Like, think about this for a second, right? Just as a hypothetical, right? He says we need to complete the queue, all right? Keep donating your bits to complete the queue. So he donates bits to, quote unquote, complete the queue, and he doesn't get to answer those questions. And then that money is supposed to go to charity, but he's just going to be paying back the person that donated it, right? So I think that, personally, it's very possible that money laundering was done. There just isn't really super evidence to it right now. So I do appreciate the way he's saying it.
He's using Kronos and him using his alternate account to make these donations to artificially grow the train. But specifically with that last part, not about money laundering, but based off of the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, this could be considered a deceptive business practice or deceptive act. So I'm pulling this information directly from the Federal Trade Commission Act, Section 5, Unfair or Deceptive Acts or Practices. Now I'm just showing you where this is in the document. I'm going to pull up a screenshot because it's easier to zoom in. We're focusing on this part here, deceptive acts and practices, assessing whether an act or practice is deceptive. Now you may see that there's a little line here indicating that's where my mouse was. No, I did not edit this, and I'll leave a link in the description to this so that you can verify that yourself. I'm gonna read this part off here.
Before you read that off there, I'm thinking about this whole money laundering thing. He's donating money to himself, and Twitch skims off the top, right? So he is not making back everything that he spends. All that extra money being spent that he's spending on himself is gonna be a tax write-off. Like, there's no way he's not writing this as a business expense. Like, he absolutely is. So the business expense is essentially donating money to himself. Like, do you realize how shitty this looks? Like, if it's true, if he actually wrote this as a business expense, which I'll be honest, I'm 90% sure that's what he did. Because, bro, you're just throwing the money in the trash? So I think that if you're donating money to yourself, and the tiny bit of revenue that's sliced off the top for Twitch, if he makes that a business expense, how the fuck do you explain this to the IRS? The businesses, fraudulent business practices? Like, what are you saying?
There must be a representation, omission, or practice that misleads or is likely to mislead the consumer.
Yeah, which this is. It absolutely is misleading as fuck when he's like, oh my god, I have the biggest Twitch stream of all time. And meanwhile, he just donated all the subs to himself.
An act or practice may be found to be deceptive if there is a representation, omission, or practice that misleads or is likely to mislead the consumer. It goes on to say deception is not...
Oh, dude, this could be so fucking bad now that people are talking about it. This could be so fucking bad, because if you think about it, Kronos gifts him subs, okay? Kronos gifts him subs. Kronos might write that as a business expense. He might. I don't know. He pays Kronos back as a gift. All right, it's a gift. Shout out to Kronos. You got your money paid back. And then he writes that as a business expense. Like, dude, where's the business? Where's the business, guys?
It's not limited to situations in which a consumer has already been misled. Instead, an act or practice may be found to be deceptive if it is likely to mislead consumers. And then right down here below, omission of information may be deceptive if disclosure of the omitted information is necessary to prevent a consumer from being misled. Now, you could make the argument that the fact that they are not being transparent about the fact that Kronos is the person who is donating these, as he's using this alternate account, Serendipitous Bean, people don't recognize that this is artificial inflation. The fact that they were referencing that they were a friend with Kronos in real life. Now they're trying to create what looks to be organic growth, it seems like, by not telling people the truth of this. And I would say that if people knew this fact, then it could lead them to make a different decision when it came to donating to Pirate Software for this hype train. Again, that hinges on how people would react knowing that information, and we don't know that. Moreover, I'm not a fucking lawyer. See, I can admit that. And so I don't really know how much you could really get away with this, or if any other letter of the law is going to push against this specific argument when it comes to Twitch and receiving donations on a streaming service. And I'm kind of making this specific point in conjunction just below what we just read. It continues on to say this: the act or practice must be considered from the perspective of the reasonable consumer. In determining whether an act or practice is misleading, the consumer's interpretation of or reaction to the representation, omission, or practice must be reasonable under the circumstances. The test is whether the consumer's expectations or interpretation are reasonable in light of the claims made. And this part specifically is something that I found interesting, but I'm just kind of speculating here. So it says, when representations or marketing practices are targeted to a specific audience, such as the elderly or the financially unsophisticated, the standard is based upon the effects of the act or practice on a reasonable member of that group. So we would ask that question, a member of that group being a Twitch viewer who is potentially willing to donate to a streamer. How would the information of knowing that Kronos was using this alternate account to help inflate the train and keep it moving along, how would that impact a reasonable viewer of that stream? If I saw that a train was getting closer to a certain goal,
obviously it could manipulate people into wanting to donate more, right? Like, once you see that you might be beating the record, you're gonna get so many people actually want to donate money to reach that record, right? Like, this happens so often. Like, there's some sort of donation goal, people donate at the end to hit the goal. So if this dude literally takes money from one pocket and puts it in another pocket to artificially inflate this hype train in order to get close to the end, and then obviously people want to be the guy that completes the hype train, so other people are actually gonna fucking donate, right? Like, that could be super manipulative.
And I saw that it kept moving up, I would be more inclined to donate, seeing that what I think to be natural growth. If I knew that it was artificial, I would be less inclined to donate to it because that feels scummy. But I mainly think that it feels scummy because it's deceptive. If they had come out the gate saying, hey, you know, we're doing this thing, we are donating, we are going to keep the train alive with this certain amount of money because, you know, we want to, I still think that's lame. I think that's really stupid. I think a couple other people might agree with me on that, but I would have a much less averse reaction to it knowing it right out the gate. And I think that kind of comes into play with what we were just reading. But I really do want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. So I will be speaking more to Mario, the lawyer, and figuring out and going more in depth as to what this could actually mean and get his, you know, lawyer perspective on if there is any, you know, potential breach of US law. Now, the last thing that I want to bring up for this video has to do with the potential defense that I see coming out. Because I saw this YouTube short talking about how Pirate, at the start of each month, will donate a bunch of subs to his community.
Monthly.
I see. Interesting.
Ruse will happen every first of the month from now on. You see, Twitch is paying me a lot of money to run ads. I've accepted this deal, but I hate ads. So how do we fix this? I take half of this money and I turn it into tier 1 subs for you, which is over 200 subs, and then I gift those to the community. So all the people that get those 200 plus subs don't have any ads for the entire month. But since I gifted half of this, 39% of a tier 1 sub comes back to me. And Twitch still pays me a bunch of money on top of that, so I actually make about $1,700, which is more money than I make in a month normally, and also none of you get to watch ads.
Now, my first rebuttal to this is the
self-report
fact that it is 200 tier 1 subs coming from Pirate Software. He's saying that he would be gifting that to his community. So number one, we know that Kronos is the one that is dropping these subs. Okay, well, maybe it is Kronos that's dispersing these. Okay, well, if we go back to this DM communication between the two of them, we're going to see...
Yeah, I don't think that's a rebuttal. I think that part is stuff that he did himself.
That he says that he donated 100 tier 1s on his personal, but they were talking about focusing on either doing bit donations or tier 3s, since those might be better. Bits being 82% return. So we know that the goal of this isn't what's being referenced in the short.
No, absolutely not. That's a totally separate thing.
Not to do a bunch of those tier 1 subs at the beginning of the month to help people not watch ads. This clearly is intentionally in reference to keeping the hype train alive, as you see down here with the did 50k bits at 20 seconds left. I just wanted to include that.
Yeah, that's not a rebuttal.
Because there was some chat in my Discord about that specifically. And at first when I watched it, thought it was a good point. But then after looking back at the DMs, I'm very hesitant to believe that it had anything to do with the messages that we just went through. But I'm interested to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I know this has been a very long video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed going through this investigation, have anything to say, please leave it in the comments below. Consider giving this video a like, subscribing if you're new here, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, no, he cooked, absolutely. Link in the description, of course. Now, I don't know. I guess all in all I have to say is I don't think that there's anything wrong with him, you know, donating his own. He makes it very transparent that he's going to be donating subscribers to people on YouTube. Like, it's or on Twitch or whatever. I don't think that matters. Again, I think it's him making himself look like some benevolent guy, even though he's kind of a fraud and an egotistical narcissist. But I don't think that there's anything actually wrong with this part of it. I think it's the incredibly scummy getting people to donate money to himself, incentivizing other people to also donate. I don't know what kind of tax write-off, laundering, or perhaps even charity fraud might be going on. I obviously don't know anything about that, so I'm not going to sit here and, you know, going crazy. However, what I am going to say, finally, this dude will keep downfalling. His downfall will continue. It's gonna be amazing. It's actually gonna be fucking awesome. And lock in, boys and girl, because we will keep covering his downfall as it happens. I do love a good downfall now and again. Definitely subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye! Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.